from Central Virginia. It is October. It is nice and cool. There's crisp air. And best of all, my son is home from college for break. And so I am attempting to make some of his favorite foods while he's home because I really do miss him. Today, I'm going to make a beef stew that I called Use What You've Got beef stew. This is a very simple recipe. It has a lot of ingredients in it, but this is one of those things that you can really mix or match. I'm making it for a crowd because I've also got some folks coming in, some other family coming in tonight for dinner. So we're going to make a big pot of this. It's going to cook all afternoon. I'm going to serve it over a big bowl of buttered noodles, and it's going to be so good. So let's get started. Honestly, in my family, we don't eat a lot of red meat, so this is an occasional kind of thing for us. But what I have here is 3 pounds, about 3 pounds of chuck roast that I have cut. Actually, my husband cut it. He was very nice. Cut it into about 1 to 1.5 inch pieces, about like this. It's a use what you've got beef stew, and this is what I have. I have cut up about 2 carrots into small pieces. I have 4 potatoes. I have some button mushrooms just quartered and 2 onions. I'm also going to put in some shishito peppers. So shishito peppers, about 1 in every 10 run hot, mildly hot, and the others are mildly sweet. And then I have several cloves of garlic, probably about 6 cloves of garlic. That's the vegetable assortment that I'm going to use. Later in the winter, I will have parsnips, and I would add parsnips to this mix as well, or any combination thereof. You could also add turnips if you have turnips, rutabagas, anything like that. Any kind of root vegetable works well. You're going to need something to thicken your stew, and what I use is flour. Now, as far as spices and things, you have, again, options, options, options. This is just what I am putting in. I am using 2 or 3 bay leaves. I have black pepper here. I have some cumin, ground cumin, oregano. This is my own coriander seed. And for this particular beef stew, I'm going to use some of my husband's homemade pale ale beer. You can use any kind of dark beer, any kind of beer that you want to use, or no beer at all. Sometimes I make this using wine, and sometimes none of that at all. And of course, you're going to need some salt as well. So let's go ahead and get started on the process. This particular beef stew recipe, I actually break a lot of my rules. Usually I say I really like to layer in the flavors one by one. I'm not going to do that. This is like a dump it into the big stew pot kind of situation. In most recipes, you see a very laborious process of stovetop browning of the pieces of meat. I'm not going to do that because mine is going to roast in the oven very slowly. And at the very end of the cooking, I will remove the top, and that will brown the meat just beautifully. So I make this is like I dump it all in, measured in 4 tablespoons of flour. And this, of course, is for about 3 pounds of meat. I'm going to add into that mixture some salt, about a teaspoon. And I'm also going to put some pepper in. Woo, and mix it all up. I'm going to take some of the meat and put it into that pan. I'm going to use my hands. They're going to get all gnarly and meaty. Okay, now I'm just going to sprinkle over the flour mixture. I'm going to put about half of it in, and I'm going to just toss this around to get the flour distributed into this pan. This will thicken up as it cooks. All right, and I'm going to put the rest of the flour mixture, toss this to coat as well. There we go. This is not precision. Next thing I'm going to do is just add my various vegetables in. Garlic, here go the carrots, here are the potatoes. Take some cumin, liberally douse it with cumin. Coriander seed is simply the seed of the cilantro plant. Generous sprinkling of oregano in. All right, I'm going to give this a mix up. Mix it all up. Just chopping up the shishitos. Shishitos in, just a little extra something in here. Use what you've got. I've got about a cup of water here. I'm just going to add that in. And here comes the beer. Smells delicious. All right. So I'm going to give this a stir, mix everything up. All right. Now that this is all mixed up, I'm just going to put a top on it. And I'm going to put it in my oven at about 325. So that's a very slow, low roasting away. And I will leave it in there for probably a good hour and a half. And then I'll check it. I may give it a stir during that time just to make sure it's all melding together nicely. You can make this ahead of time. It gets better with age, or it could be frozen. It stores well. So that is just my use what you've got, no fuss beef stew. What is the bare bones essential besides the meat and whatever vegetables you want? Salt, pepper, in my view, cumin, especially if you're making it with the beer. Beyond that, sky's the limit. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you're well. Take care. Bye.